Hello students, welcome back to the online class again. Now after completing our chapter number 1, creating list tables and hyperlinks in HTML, we know how to create list tables and hyperlinks in HTML. Now let's continue our lesson with chapter number 2, that is animations in action in Class-8. Now this is the first video session of chapter number 2. Now let's see. Now animation in action in Class-8. Now, what we are going to study, which topic are we going to study in this chapter? Let's see here. You learn about the significance of timeline in Flash. What are the significance of timeline in Flash? These we are going to learn. Then the terms. What are the terms? These frames, keyframe, and layers. What are these? Frame, keyframe, and layers. These we are going to study here. Then how to insert, delete, select, cut, copy, or paste frames and keyframes. That is inserting, deleting, selecting, cutting, copying, and pasting of frames or keyframes. Then creating simple animation with different techniques like frame by frame, shape between motion tween, and guided motion tween. These are the different techniques of making animations. These are the different techniques of making some simple animations. These things we are going to learn. And the last thing is creating a mask and using rotation option with masking. These topics, okay, these topics we are going to study in this chapter number 2, that is animations in action in Class-8. The introduction of this Class-8 we have already done in the previous class, that is in the previous year in Class-8. Okay, we have already done the introduction for this Class-8. Now let's see here. Let's start our chapter. Now you are familiar with the basic tools. Now we are already familiar with the basic tools available on the Flash Tools panel for creating, modifying objects on the stage. In this chapter, you learn some basic techniques used for creating simple animation from still objects. From still objects, we'll create some simple animations. That means we are going to uh, allow the still objects to move. Okay, now let's see here, working with the timeline. How we will work through the timeline. A timeline, a timeline which may be present above or below the stage. Which may be present above or below the stage is a series of small rectangles. It contains two important things. The first one is frames and the second one is layers. Now, what are the two important things? The first one is frames and the second one is layers. Now here layer is given here, layer 1, layer 2. Now you can create layer 1, layer 2, layer 3 according to your according to your desires. That means how many layers you want. You can create here layers. Then these are the key frames and these are the unused keyframes. Okay, now the actual animation takes place within the frames. The animation will take place within the frame here, and there is a vertical red line here. This is known as a playhead. You can drag left and right to see the animation that I'll explain you afterwards. While the object that you animate are specified in the layers that's shown in figure number 1 here, the timeline. Now here, what you can see in this picture, this is the layer 1, layer 2. Okay, how many layers you want to create according to your animation you are making, you can make the layers here. Then this is the playhead. This a red vertical line is the playhead, and these are the used keyframes which I will be using, and these are the unused frames which you can use it in future. Okay, now frames and keyframes. Now what are frames and keyframes? Let's see here. Now a frame is a single rectangle in your timeline and it contains a single step in your animation. It will contain a single step in your animation. It is a single rectangle in your timeline. As I have shown you here, the frame single rectangle here. These are the frames. Now let's see again here. Now it contains a single step in your animation. Now frames are numbered at the top of the timeline. Now these frames are numbered at top of the timeline. Let's see here. Let's go back again and see these frames are numbered. Okay, at top of the timeline here, some number 5, 10, 15, 20 are given here. Okay, so you can see the number here. These frames are numbered. Now let's go back again. At top of the timeline, every fifth frame has a gray field and is marked with a frame number. Now we have just seen here, now that every fifth frame has a gray field and is marked with a frame number like 5, 10, 15 like this. The black dots at the bottom of some frames represent the keyframes. Now let's see here. On the bottom of this, we can see a dot here, right? Now these frames are numbered like 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 like this, and here is a dot given here. You can see. Now if you didn't see properly, you can refer your book, your textbook I mean. Now you don't draw into a frame on the timeline. You draw on the stage. You don't need to draw on the frame. Okay, on the timeline you can draw on the stage. The stage is given below the frame. Now this is known as the, this is not the you don't need to draw here. You have to draw below this keyframe. That is the in on the stage. On the stage you can draw, not on the frame on the timeline. The current frame marker playhead indicates the frame whose contents are currently displayed on the stage. This playhead will indicate the frame those contents are currently displayed on the stage. Now working with frames, keyframes. Now for inserting frame or keyframes, use one of the following options depending upon the requirement. For inserting frame or keyframe, use one of the following options depending upon the requirement. Right click on the rectangle in the timeline and choose insert, then frame for static frames, insert keyframe or insert blank keyframe. Or you can choose these steps, or either you can do like this also. Click on the rectangle in the timeline, then click on insert, then timeline, and choose one of these options: frame for static frames, keyframe or blank keyframe. Or either you can use the shortcut with shortcut keys. Click on the rectangle in the timeline. You have to first click on the rectangle, click on the rectangle, right click on the rectangle. This one is right click on the rectangle. So click on the rectangle in the timeline, then press F5. Static keyframes 6. For static keyframes you have to press F5, the function key F5, and for keyframes you have to press F6, and for blank keyframe you have to press F7. These are the function keys you can find on your keyboard, on the top of the keyboard. Okay, F1 to, you can see the function keys from F1 to F12 on top of the keyboard. These are known as the function keys. Now in this Class-8 we are using the function keys, some of the function keys. Now F5 for static keyframes, for inserting static keyframes, and for keyframe you have to press F6, and for blank keyframe you have to press F7. Now these things I'll tell you afterwards practically also. I'll show you, I'll explain these. Okay, first theoretically, then I'll explain practically also. Now when you insert a keyframe, the content of the previous keyframe gets copied to the new keyframe. When you insert a keyframe, the content of the previous keyframe that is already there gets copied to the new keyframe. When you insert a blank keyframe, it creates a frame with a blank stage. Got it? Now table 1 lists some more actions and procedures that can be applied on frame or keyframe. Now frame or keyframe action, and this is the procedure. Now to select a single frame, what you have to do, select the frame. To select a single frame, you have to just select the frame. Now to select continuous frames, what you have to do is select the first frame and the last frame while pressing the shift key. You have to press shift key from the keyboard. Okay, we should listen this very clearly. Now select the first frame you have to select, and before selecting the last frame, what you have to do, you have to press, while pressing the shift key, you have to press the last frame. By doing this, you can select continuous frames. Now to select non-continuous frames, what you have to do is press the control key. You have to press the control key from the keyboard, then select all the frames one by one. You can select the frames one by one by pressing the control key, just like selecting unadjacent words from the MS Word. In the MS Word also, if you want to select some unadjacent words, okay, different words from different paragraphs, what you have to do, you have to first select a word, then what you have to do, you have to press the control key on the keyboard, then you can select one by one. Likewise, for selecting non-continuous frames, in this class is also what you have to do, you have to press the control key and select all the frames one by one. Then to select all frames on a layer, click the name of the layer. You have to click on the name of the layer and you can select all the frames on that layer. Okay, I guess you have understood till here working with frames and keyframes. Now to delete the selected frames including its content from the stage. Now to delete some selected frames including its content, the content also it will delete from the stage. What you have to do, right click on the frame and then click remove frames. You can just right click on the frame which you want to delete, then click, there will some options will be given there. From there you can click on remove frames or edit timeline. Go to edit menu and go to timeline, then remove frames. Or you can, by using the shortcut key, you can press shift F5. Now shift F5 is for inserting static frames, but using this shift F5, now F5 is for inserting static frames, right? If you press only F5, by pressing only F5 key from the keyboard, you can insert static frames. But by pressing shift F5, it will delete the selected frames, including its contents from the stage. Now to delete the content of the selected frame on the stage but the frame remains on the timeline, right click on the frame, then click on clear frames, or edit timeline, then clear frames. So you are clearing the frames. To delete the content of the selected frames on the stage but the frame remain on the timeline, the frame will remain. This will delete the selected frame including its content. But here what we are doing here the content, only to delete the content of the selected frame on the stage but the frame remains on the timeline. The frame will remain on the timeline. What you have to do, you have to just right click on the frame, then click on the clear frames. By doing this, you can delete the content of the selected frames only but not the frame will remain on the timeline. So you can do by going to the edit menu, then timeline, then clear frames, or by pressing alt plus backspace. You know backspace key on the keyboard, the alt key also. What you have to do, you have to press the alt key, then you have to press on the backspace key. Now by doing this also, it will clear the content of the selected frames but the frames remains on the timeline. Got it? Now to copy the selected frames in the clipboard, what you have to do, select the frame, then right click and copy frames, just like copying some words, some text. Okay, just right click and copy frames, then you can copy the selected frames. The selected frames can be copied. Now to paste the copied frame with its content to the destination, right click at the place of the timeline where you want to paste, then right click and then click on paste frames. Now by doing this also, you can paste the copied frame with its content along with the contents to the destination. Now after this it comes the layers. Now what is layers? Let's see here. Now a layer is a row with frames in the timeline. You can create multiple layers. I've already told you since the beginning of this chapter number 2, we can create layers as much as you want. Okay, here layer number 1, 2, 3, 4, as much as layers you want according to your animation. What animation you are making, you can create layers here. So a layer is a row with frames in the timeline. You can create multiple layers. Layers help you organize artwork in your document. You can draw and edit objects on one layer without affecting objects on another layer, shown in figure number 2 here. Now timeline showing multiple layers. Some layers are shown here, like layer number 5, layer number 3, layer number 1, layer number 6, layer number 4, like this. It won't affect other layers. Now you can create like this, you can create different layers. Now working with layers. Now to add a new layer, click on the insert layer icon. Now this layer insert icon here on the timeline panel. This will insert a new layer directly above the layer that is currently selected. Now which layer is selected, above that a layer will be, this will insert a new layer directly above the layer that is currently selected. Now if you select layer number 1, a layer will be created. If you click this layer, insert layer icon here, insert layer icon, this icon, it will create a layer just above the layer which you are currently selecting. Now double click the layer name to change it. You can change the layer name. Just double click on the layer and you can change the name. You may also easily arrange the order of your layers by clicking a layer and dragging it to the selected location along with the other layers. You may also easily rearrange the order of your layer by clicking a layer and then dragging. You have to click a layer and you have to drag, means what? You have to click the left mouse button, then you can drag up and down to select the location along with the other layers. Okay, by doing this you can easily rearrange the order of the layers. Now to delete a layer, select it by clicking on the layer name and then click on the trash can icon. Now you have to just select the layer which you want to delete and you have to click on the trash can icon, then that layer will be deleted. Now what we have seen here, we can create layers. In layers, on the topic layers, what we have seen, we have learned just now, we can create many as layers we want according to the animation, what animation or document we are making. Now working with layers also, you can insert layers by clicking on the insert layer icon. Okay, this is the icon here. By clicking here you can add the layers, but how is the procedure for adding is, when you click on, we have to select a layer, then when you click on the insert layer icon, a new layer will be created just above the layer you are selecting. Okay, then after that, if you want to rename the layer, you can just double click. Then if you want to rearrange the layers up and down, you can click on the layer, then drag up and down to rearrange the layers along with the other layers. Okay, and if you want to delete the layers, what you have to do, you have to just click the layer, then you have to click on the trash can icon shown here like a dustbin here, then the layer will be deleted. Now in the next topic, let's see how animation in Flash are created in number of ways. Creating of animation in, we can create animation in Flash in a number of ways. Now let's see. Now here the next topic is creating animation. This is very interesting. Okay, listen carefully. Now we can create animation in Flash in a number of ways. Now these are frame by frame animation, also we can create, then shape twin animation, and the third one is motion twin animation, then guided motion twin. Now in these 4 different ways we can create animation in Flash. Now let's see this one by one. Now once again I'm telling you, I'll explain this practically also. I'll show you this practically, frame by frame animation, step tune animation, motion tune animation, guided motion tune animation. Okay, afterwards let's, to make you more understand, let's understand the theory part first, then I'll tell you practical also. When I show you practically, you'll understand it more. Okay, now let's see the first one here, frame by frame animation. Now frame by frame animation is created by designing each frame separately and executing all these frames in a sequence. Now this frame by frame animation is created by designing each frame separately. We'll design this each and every frame separately, then executing all these frames in a sequence. Now to create a frame by frame animation, the steps are as follows. Now let's see here, select text tool from the tool panel, then insert some text on the stage, example welcome. Okay, then change the font of the text with the help of the tools available on property inspector window. These are very easy. You can change the font text. Okay, font text color, these are very easy, as you have done already done in the this one MS Word also, in the previous class also. Okay, now press Ctrl B twice to break the text box apart so that each letter becomes a separate object. You can press Ctrl B twice, okay, to break the text box apart so that each letter becomes separate object. Then press F6 key from the keyboard to copy the first keyframe to the next frame. These shortcut keys you have to remember it. Then in the next frame, select the first letter and change its color. Select the first letter and change its color. It's very easy also to changing the color. Now move the letter to another place to the stage. Now repeat steps 4 and 5 each for every letter in the text. Click on the first frame, then click on the control menu, then press play, or press enter key to play it once, or press control enter to play the movie continuously till it stops. Now there are some shortcut keys here, like press Ctrl B, F6, then Control Enter to play the movie continuously, or to play just press Enter to play it once. Now these things I will explain you. I'll show you practically also. But what you have to do is first you have to remember the which functions, which some keyboard functions use in these. Okay. Now if the speed of the animation is too fast, reduce the frame rate by clicking on the modify document, then reduce the frame rate and try again. If the motion is very fast, that is the animation is too fast, we can reduce the frame rate. Where we'll go and reduce the frame rate also, I'll tell you, by clicking on the modify and then document, then reduce the frame rate. Will reduce the frame rate. Okay, and we can try again. Or if you want to make it fast also, we can go to the modify and document, then we can change the frame rate again. So this is about the frame by frame animation. Now create an animation showing a bouncing ball. Hint, draw the ball in the first frame. In the first frame, what you have to do, you can draw a ball. Keep copying the keyframes and change the position of the ball in every subsequent keyframe. In another keyframe, you can change the position, then the ball will bounce like this. In any way you want, you can make the ball bouncing. Okay, draw the ball in the first keyframe, keep copying the keyframe, then change the position of the ball in every subsequent keyframe. This is also very interesting. But I'll show you practically this afterwards. After doing this one theory parts, I'll explain you and I'll show you practically. Now after frame by frame animation, the next is the step tune animation. Now let's see what is this step tune animation here again. Now next is the step tune animation. Now let's see what is step tune animation. Step tune is another method you can use for creating animations. Now like frame by frame animation, this step tune is also another method for creating animations. Okay. Another term for shape is morphing. Now it is an animation technique that transforms one shape into another. Now what is this animation? Shape tween animation. Shape tween means it will change, it will transform from one shape into another. Now how we can change from one shape to another? Now the steps is given below here, and this is a technique of transforming one shape into another. Now try the steps given below. The steps is given here. Open a new Flash document. Now we have to open a new Flash document, and in that we have to select appropriate tools from the tools panels to create a colorful shape, say a circle. uh, Here the book is saying a circle. You can create any shape you want. Okay, whatever shape you want from the tool panel you can select, but here just it's giving an example, like say a circle. Suppose we create a colorful shape like circle. Okay, on the stage, in the first frame, you have to create a circle. Then select frame number 35 on the same layer. Now on the same layer you can select frame number 35. Now 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35. Now 35 is selected here on the same layer, and press F6 to copy the keyframe. Or you can press F6 to copy the keyframe. Then select the last frame 35 in this example. Now you can select this last frame in this example 35 and delete the circle. Now you can delete the circle you have just drawn. And after that, now create a new shape in this frame. In this frame, what you have to do, well, we have already clicked in the last frame, that is on in this example number. We have select up to 35. So in this example you have to click on the last frame, that is 35, and you delete the circle you have just created. Now create a new shape in this frame, say a diamond. Now you can create a diamond here of a different color. Now you can put a color also differently, and the shape also. First we have created a circle. Now here you can create a diamond. I'm just saying according to the book. Okay, but while you are doing practically, you can put any shape you want. It may be circle, it may be diamond, it may be rectangle, it may be square, or it may be any shape. Okay, from the tool panel you can create. Now create a new shape in the frame, say diamond of a different color. Then select any frame between 1 to 35. Now from here 1 to 35 you can select any frame and select the shape option from twin pop-up menu. From this twin there will be a pop-up menu here. It's given here none, then motion, shape, and distributed. Now from here, now you have to select the shape option. The shape option is here on third. Okay, you have to select the shape option from twin pop-up menu. From this twin pop-up menu you have to select the shape option in the property inspector. This is known as the property inspector. Here it's written as properties, so it's known as a property inspector, shown in figure number 3 here. From this twin pop-up menu you have to select the option shape here. Just click here. Okay, from the property inspector shown here. Now select the keyframe 75. Now after that, this is 35, you select this keyframe again on 75 and press F6. Draw a star in this frame. Now in this frame we draw a star. We have drawn the first one, which we have drawn the circle we have drawn. Then the next we have drawn a diamond. Then the third we are drawing here a star. Then and press F6. Okay, and draw a star in this frame. Click frames between 35 to 75. Now first we have clicked from 1 to 35. Here we have to click a frame between 35 to 75 here, and select shape option under twin. In the property inspector again, the timeline will appear as shown in the figure number 4 given below here. Timeline showing a shape twin animation from 1 to 35 here, then 35 to 75 here again. Okay, now after that you can play the movie here, which we have created the shape twin here. You can play the movie. Okay, now this is how we can make animation using this shape twin animation. Then one thing you should remember about shape twin animation is, now here, do not convert an object to symbol if you want to shape twin it. If you want to shape twin, do not convert an object to symbol. No need for converting an object to symbol if you want to shape twin it. Because why? Because notes is given here, because shapes cannot be shape twin. Make sure that the line is smooth, and we have to make sure that the line is smooth and not broken to ensure correct twinning. Okay, we have to make sure that the line is smooth and it is not broken. To why? To ensure correct twinning. Shown in figure number 5 here, broken twin. Now here is a broken twinning. Now after after showing you practically, you can create this also, or if you know already, okay, you can create this also. Create a flash animation in which a rectangle changes into a kite. You can create a flash animation using shape twin in which a rectangle changes to a kite. Okay, now we have done two methods of creating animations. That is, the first one is the keyframe. The first one is a frame by frame animation, and the second way is the shape twin animation. Just we have done now. Now there are two other also, motion twin animation and guided motion twin motion twin also. That other two ways we'll do in the second video session of this chapter number 2. Now for today, let's wind up our class here. Let's end our class here. Okay, students, hope you all understand what I have just taught you for today's topic. I'll explain you practically. I'm telling you again, I'll explain you practically. Okay, after explaining all these theoretical parts, I show you by doing practically. And once again, I'm reminding you, you have a class test on 30th May 2021, that is on Sunday. Okay, so in order to attend, in order to appear the class test, we have to join the Google Classroom. Okay, it is compulsory to join the Google Classroom so that you can get all the YouTube videos and also the study materials. Okay, the textual exercises and the extra questions also have all uploaded in the Google Classroom. Okay, I'll not send through WhatsApp again the videos and all those study materials. I'll send you through Google Classroom. So it is compulsory to join the Google Classroom. Okay, students, stay home, stay safe, and stay healthy.